everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing good. I'm also doing well. So today, I want to tell you that every living thing born on this earth, like plants, birds, animals, flowers, and even a human being, has to finally die. So today's lesson will tell us the end of journey of life. So let us talk about some great men in history. First, let us talk about Alexander the Great. He was the king of ancient Macedonia for less than 13 years, but he could change the course of history. And he was one of the greatest military generals and who had conquered a vast kingdom that stretched from Macedonia to Egypt and from Greece to part of India. How he died was unknown, so historians have debated the issues for centuries, attributing it to poison, malaria, typhoid, fever, and other problems. But what is agreed upon is that he died at the age of 32 years while suffering from a high fever that had lasted for 10 days. Next, we have Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of the United States of America. He led the Civil War and abolished slavery. He was shot in the head in Washington, D.C. on the evening of April 14, 1865, and he died the next morning. He was 56 years when he died. The next great man that I chose is Nelson Mandela. He was the first black president in South Africa from 1994 to 1999. He received more than 260 awards over 40 years, and the most remarkable was the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. He brought about an end to a system of separation and discrimination on ground of race in South Africa. He died at the age of 95 from respiratory tract infection on 5th December 2013. Now, let me ask a question, and I want each and every one of you to think about it. And the question is, what is common in the three great men that we just discussed? And we will come to know about it at the end of the poem. Before we jump into the lesson, I want to introduce you to the poet. James Shirley was born on 18 September 1596 in London and died on 29 October 1666. He was educated at Oxford and Cambridge, and he worked as a schoolmaster most of his life. And during his lifetime, he wrote about 40 plays, including tragedies, romantic comedies, and comedies of manners. So dear students, I want each and every one of you to open a textbook on page number 22, Death the Leveler. And if you read the text, you will find some words which are typed in bold letters. So the meaning of those words that you will find at the bottom of your textbooks. So please check it out and you can understand better about the word meanings. Now let us begin with the poem Death the Leveler by James Shirley. The glories of our blood and state are shadows, not substantial things. There is no armor against fate. Death lays his icy hand on kings. Scepter and crown must tumble down, and in the dust be equal made with the poor crooked scythe and spade. The poet starts the poem saying that the name and fame of our family is like a shadow, which holds no meaning and is perishable. Nothing can save us from our fate. Death engulfs or overcomes even the kings. Here, fame means a class or the social status we have because of royal birth or the high office we hold in the society. Perishable means expire or die, and fate is the destiny that the poet talks about here in the first stanza. And also, the power, name, and fame of even a king end with his life. After death, a king is buried in the same earth where a peasant or a laborer is buried. Some men with swords may reap the field and plant fresh laurels where they kill, but their strong nerves at last must yield. They tame but one another still. Early or late they stoop to fame, and must give up their murmuring breath when they, pale captives, creep to death. The poet now gives example of a soldier in the battlefield. He says that brave soldiers achieve victory. Here, victory means success after killing the enemies with their swords. They are very powerful while fighting with their enemy, but they cannot fight with death. Even the strongest of men have to die. In this stanza, the poet further adds that sooner or later, even the strongest of men have to bow before death. They do not wish to leave their breaths, but death forces them to leave the life, like it does to the prisoners of war. The gardens wither on your brow, then boast no more your mighty deeds. Upon death's purple altar now, see where the victim bleeds. Your heads must come to the cold tomb. Only the actions of the just smell sweet and blossom in their dust. Here, the poet warns the victorious soldier that he will be crowned and honored for the daring acts. But soon, those garlands of honor will dry up. So, he should not be carried away with success and boast about it. Very soon, death will treat both the winner and the loser alike. Both will bleed to death in the same way. In these lines, the poet states that the soldier who has won or has lost the battle is bound to die, as death is inevitable. The only difference here would be that the one who has acted justly would be remembered. Only the deeds of a person determine his glory after his death. Now let me briefly summarize the poem. The opening lines of the poem, "The glories of our blood and state," refers to the great achievements earned by man through sweat and tears, and the social status we have because of royal birth or the high office we hold in the society. According to the poet, great achievements and social status of man means nothing to him in the end, as these cannot protect him against his destiny. Here, destiny refers to death. No matter how great our achievements are, in the end, nothing matters. The glories become meaningless, as man is destined to die one day. The poem is a reminder of the fact that death is only a certainty that is always hanging over us and ready to terminate us. There is nothing that can resist its icy grasp or delay its coming. It does not distinguish between rich or poor, master or servant, good or evil, and young or old. Death is sure to fall on a rich king or a poor farmer equally. It reaches out to all and affects everyone in equal measure, and we all turn to dust in the end. Now let's go to the theme of the poem. There are two main themes. The first one, as the title of the poem suggests, is of the invincibility of death. Here, invincibility means unbeatable or that cannot be conquered. It reflects on the meaninglessness of materialism, pride, and war, as the great warriors and kings are eventually reduced to dust. The other important theme is equality. Death is the equalizer which brings the rich and the poor, the victor and the victim together, and removes all the superficial differences of social status, power, and money. Now, let's go into the rhyme scheme of the poem. Poem is different from prose as it follows a rhyme scheme. A poet used rhyming words which sound similar at the end of each lines or alternate lines to give a poem its beauty. Now, let's go to the rhyme scheme of the poem. In the first line, the ending word state is considered as A. In the second line, the ending word thanks is considered as B. In the third line, the ending word fate is similar to the ending word of the first line state, so it is A. In the fourth line, the ending word kings, which sound similar to the ending word of the second line thanks, so it is B. In the fifth line, the ending word crown, it sounds different from the ending words of the first four lines, so we have to move on to the next letter, that is C. The sixth line ending word down is similar with the ending word of the fifth line crown, so crown and down are considered as C. In the seventh line, the ending word made sounds different from the ending words of the previous lines, so we have to move on to the next letter, that is D. In the eighth line, that is the last line of the first stanza, the ending word spade sounds similar to the ending word of the seventh line made, so made and spade are considered as D. So the rhyme scheme of the first stanza is A, B, C, D. So the second stanza and the third stanza follow the same pattern of the rhyme scheme. So dear students, we have discussed the three great men in history in the beginning of the video. From their story, we can learn that no matter how well or great we can do, we are equal before death. And also from the poem, we learn that death is the equalizer because winners and losers of a battle die the same way. It also treats mighty kings and weak laborers equally. Here, the only good deeds or actions are remembered after death. So, dear students, we should always do good deeds during our short span of life so that we can be remembered even after death. So we have come to the end of the poem Death Beloved, written by Shirley. So dear students, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you understand the poem. So stay home, stay safe during this pandemic, and see you in the next video. Thank you.